What is Pondy's model of organizational conflict? Well, first, organizational conflict is generally conflict in goals between two or more internal groups in an organization. And this causes the behavior of one group in furtherance of whatever its objectives or goals are to conflict or cause competition with another group. Now, with this being said, Pondy's model argues that there are basic 5 stages of conflict development. Now, not every conflict has to go through all stages. It can be intercepted at any stage and remedied, but if brought to fruition, it goes through these 5 stages. First, latent, and this is the context for which the competition derives. It's where you have finite resources. One group has a need for independence above another or detachment from dependence on them, or there are varied subunit objectives with regards to operations or output. Next, you have perceived conflict, and this is where you start to realize that there is ground for conflict, and it generally comes from the latent elements there, but sometimes it appears without these latent elements being present, but the parties collectively are aware that some conflict is afoot. Then you have felt conflict, and this is where it starts to affect the individuals. There's an emotional state involved, so once again, they feel the conflict. It is starting to affect their lives. Once the conflict moves forward and actually presents itself, this is the manifest stage, and this is where you have active competition between the two. You have active disgruntled behavior such that one group is trying to further their objectives at the expense of the other. This is also where you have negotiation and other things to work out the conflict, because the lines are drawn and you understand where your interests are. And then lastly, the conflict aftermath. This is where you realize any of the results of the conflict, whether that's poor performance, whether that's lack of camaraderie, whether it harms corporate culture, whatever. So this is a general model of how conflict develops, and this is why it's relevant in organizational behavior.